Making headlines this hour, Foreign Minister meets several ambassadors and holds productive discussions in New York. Maldivian government announces slashing and leveling of electricity prices for domestic category households in both capital city and the atolls. And U.S. House of Representatives passes a short-term measure to fund the federal government through February 8, ending a 3-day government shutdown.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Nasma Abdul Muhsin and this is PSM News. Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Muhammad Asim meets several ambassadors and has held productive discussions in New York. The Foreign Minister traveled to New York on an official visit after participating in the extraordinary meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers of Member States of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation held in Saudi Arabia. In New York, Foreign Minister Asim will be holding a number of bilateral consultations with permanent representatives of member states to the UN to discuss a range of issues. The minister will also be seeking support for the Maldives' candidature for a non-permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council for the term 2019 to 2020. Minister Asim will be in New York until the 26th of January, upon which he will travel to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to meet a number of African countries participating in the African Union Summit. The government of Saudi Arabia donates religious books to the Ministry of Islamic Affairs of Maldives. According to Islamic Ministry, some books donated will be kept in the library of the ministry, while the other books will be distributed to the Islamic centers built in Tinadu Island of Gafudalu Atoll and Ungufaro Island of Ra Atoll. At the ceremony held at Saudi Arabian Embassy in Maldives, the books were accepted by the Minister of State for Islamic Affairs Hassan Rashid and Permanent Secretary Musab Abdullah. Addressing the ceremony, Permanent Secretary of Islamic Ministry said the books will be beneficial for the society and described the donation as proof of the relations between the two countries. Saudi Arabia has previously made several such donations to the Maldivian government. The Maldivian government opens application opportunity for 18 master's degree courses granted by the Thailand government under its Thai International Postgraduate Program, TIPP 2018. Under the TIPP 2018, applicants can choose from 18 areas including civil engineering, food and science technology, health consumer protection and health management, medical technology and social development. Department of Higher Education of Maldives revealed that successful candidates will be offered full scholarships, which will consist of a supplementary loan allowance. Interested candidates should submit applications to the Department of Higher Education before the 28th of January. Government of Maldives issues temporary permission to serve alcohol and pork products at resort operated by Villa Group. According to the government authorities, Maldives Inland Revenue Authority MIRA had temporarily nullified the alcohol license of 4 resorts operated by Villa Group over failure to pay tax. A statement published by the Ministry of Tourism said it is aware of the importance to provide tourism-related services to meet the expectations and demands of tourists, and noted that tourism economy is crucial to Maldives. The Tourism Ministry revealed that a 14-day temporary permission has been granted to Villa Group after discussions with the Maldives Association for Tourism Industry, MATI, along with other relevant authorities. The ministry further said the government will continue to prioritize protecting and maintaining the image of the country as a tourist destination while also boosting investor confidence. Noting that Mira has also filed cases of delinquency in paying tax from resorts and islands leased to companies associated and administered by Villa Group, the ministry reiterated that it is illegal to develop and manage resorts without paying tax. The statement further urged all companies operating in the tourism industry to abide by the laws to avoid any unnecessary interruptions to tourist-related services. The Tourism Ministry has previously said companies associated and owned by Villa Group have breached various laws and regulations and revealed that cases have been reported on illegal import of alcoholic beverages to Maldives by Villa Group. According to Mira, 4 resorts operated by Villa Group have failed to pay tax throughout 2017, which amounts to $5.1 million. Mira revealed that Villa Group owes a total of about $18.9 million to the authority by the end of 2017. The government of Maldives announces slashing and the leveling of electricity prices for domestic category households in both capital city and the atolls. As per the latest development, electricity is leveled at households in the domestic category, which consumes electricity between 0 to 400 units bandwidth.
Under the initiative of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum to provide uninterrupted and cheap electricity services, major efforts have been exerted in leveling the cost of unevenly distributed prices of tariffs in different parts of the country. The biggest accomplishment was achieved by the government in the year 2016, when all the tariff prices in the atolls were leveled. In a press briefing held to announce the latest developments of electricity prices, Minister of Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim noted that this is the first time prices of electricity and water are leveled in all islands. In this regard, Minister Tariq said that all households in the domestic category, which consumes electricity between 0 to 400 units a bandwidth, would now be the same. This change will see a slash of about $4.9 to $26 from households consuming electricity between 0 to 400 units bandwidth. Minister Tariq further said that administration aims to provide basic services to the public at a low cost, and assured that the recent hike in the oil prices would not have an effect on the prices of electricity and water services. The minister revealed that the administration is working on implementing additional ways to minimize the electricity usage in the nation.
Allied Insurance Company reveals that a total of over $71,000 were paid to its customers to cover damages from various incidents. According to Allied Insurance, a total of over $71,400 were paid to its customers between the 14th and 18th of January. Allied Insurance has previously paid a record amount of $357,000 in a 5-day period. Allied Insurance is operated as a subsidiary company of State Trading Organization (STO). Maldives Monetary Authority MMA records a decline in income received from fish exports in November 2017. According to statistics published by MMA, the income received by fish exports declined, even though the volume of fish purchases made by fish processing companies registered a growth of 56% in monthly terms. MMA revealed that fish purchases made by fish processing companies totaled 7,920 metric tons in November 2017, which is an annual growth of 14%. In regard to fish exports, both the volume and earnings from fish export registered an annual decrease of 38% and 18% respectively. According to MMA, decline in both the volume and earnings from fish exports are largely due to the significant decrease in frozen yellowfin tuna and skipjack tuna exports. In contrast, both the volume and earnings from canned or pouched tuna exports registered a growth over the period. In monthly terms, both the volume and earnings from fish exports registered a growth of 88% and 80% respectively, driven by increases in frozen skipjack and fresh or chilled yellowfin tuna exports. Managing Director of International Monetary Fund Christine Lagarde says global growth will continue to strengthen this year and next, but a build-up of debt poses risks and policymakers must avoid complacency.
After the International Monetary Fund IMF revised up its forecast for global growth to 3.9% for the year 2018 and 2019, its managing director's global growth has been accelerating since 2016, and all signs point to a continuous strengthening of that growth. But she added that IMF sees a troubling increase of debt across many countries and emphasized the need to remain watchful.
There are uncertainty in the year ahead. The long period of low interest rates has led to a build-up of potentially serious financial sector vulnerability, and we are seeing a troubling increase in debt across many countries, and we need to remain watchful. Now, you will say this is the responsibility of the IMF to constantly see the potential downside risks, even down the road, if not in the immediate short term. And yes, it is our responsibility. Doesn't change the fact that we are quite upbeat for the immediate future. But what we're seeing in the more medium term gives us ground for worry.
Managing Director also raised concern about the long period of low interest rates, potentially causing serious financial sector vulnerability.
Turkish Deputy Prime Minister Bakir Bozdağ states that US needs to end its support for the Syrian Kurdish YPG militia if it wants to work together with Turkey in Syria.
Foreign Minister Pavlo Klimkin said number of casualties could be higher as more information is released about the attack by 5 gunmen dressed in army uniforms at one of the most prominent landmarks in the capital. According to the official toll, at least 20 people were killed, including 13 foreigners, many of them aircrew of Com Air. The airline is one of the handful of Afghan companies that provide links between major cities in a country where travel by road is often dangerous and unreliable. A company that provides services to Com Air, Ukrainian wing, said that 4 of its staffs, including 2 women, were among those killed, and all of its employees in Afghanistan were pulled out of the country. The company did not reveal its longer-term plans in response to the attack. The attack was claimed by Taliban, seeking to reimpose the rule and drive international forces out of Afghanistan. The raid was the latest in a series of attacks that have underlined the city's vulnerability and the ability of militants to mount high-profile operations aimed at undermining confidence in the Western-backed government.
The U.S. House of Representatives passes a short-term measure to fund the federal government through February 8, ending a 3-day government shutdown.
By a 266-250 vote, the Republican-led House quickly followed the Senate and approved the stopgap bill, which included a 6-year extension of the Children's Health Insurance Program, CHIP, but not protections for Dreamer immigrants sought by Democrats. U.S. Senate Democrats accepted the bill to restore funds to keep the government running for 3 more weeks in exchange for a promise by Republicans to hold a debate on the status of the young immigrants. The funding measure will now go to President Donald Trump, who has said he will sign it in a law and in the government shutdown. Meanwhile, young dreamers brought to the United States illegally as children were angry and disappointed after the U.S. Congress approved a temporary spending bill to end a 3-day government shutdown without a deal to shore up their shaky legal status. 20-year-old student and DACA recipient Diana, who was brought to U.S. from Peru by her parents when she was 5 years old, noted that they are working hard, paying taxes and trying to make the community better.
I felt outraged. I'm outraged. We're all furious by what's going on because they have shown us that they do not care about us. All the things that, the advertisements that have been going on show how much that they hate us. But I don't understand why they hate us. We're here working hard, paying our taxes, trying to get a better education, trying to make our community better, yet they don't care. They don't care that we're out here not knowing what's going to happen next.
24-year-old Luis Cruz came to the U.S. on a medical visa from Mexico when he was 3 years old after he suffered third-degree burns on 80% of his body. His DACA status expires in March.
It's just another form of betrayal. I've lived my life, my entire life in this country. I've pledged allegiance to its flag, and so for them to say that they're not willing to protect us, it's a betrayal.
23-year-old Melody K was brought to United States from Guatemala when she was 9 and only found she was an undocumented when she was applying for college at the age of 17. She said she remained hopeful for her future and that for all dreamers and called on people to take actions to find a solution.
But the reality is that we have 122 people losing their DACA, their status, their driver's license, their protection from deportation every single day. And after March 6th, we expect 1,400 people to lose that protection every day. So it comes back to us to push back and say, no, the urgency is now.
Last year, President Donald Trump ordered an end to protections provided to the estimated 700,000 Dreamers under the 2012 Deferred Action for Children Arrival Program DACA by March 2018.
Manchester United signed Chile forward Alexis Sanchez from Arsenal in a deal that sees midfielder Henrik Mkhitaryan move the other way.
The 29-year-old Sanchez, who was out of the contract at Arsenal at the end of the season, has joined United after the local rivals Manchester City has pulled out of the running. After the signing of the 20-time Premier League winner, Sanchez said he was thrilled to be joining the biggest club in the world. Henrik Mkhitaryan joined Arsenal after an 18-month spell at United, in which he made 39 appearances but scored only 5 goals. Mkhitaryan said it was a dream come true for him to play for Arsenal and said he has admired both manager Arsene Wenger's management style and is a big fan of the club's all-time record goal scorer, Thierry Henry. Wenger said Mkhitaryan was a complete player, creating chances and defending well. Mkhitaryan was a regular in United's first 11 at the start of this season, but fell out of favour under Mourinho and had started only one of their past 13 league games. He joined United on a 4-year deal in July 2016 for an undisclosed fee from Borussia Dortmund, where he had become one of the most highly regarded attacking midfielder in Europe. He continues to be the talisman of the Armenia team and is their all-time top scorer with 25 goals from 70 games. "40 years after Mickey, Minnie Mouse finally joins her beau on Hollywood's Walk of Fame, where the cartoon darling received her very own star. America's Sweetheart, as Minnie became known, was immortalized with the 2,627th Bronze Star Plaque to adorn the legendary Hollywood strip. The honoring of Minnie, who made her debut alongside her flame Mickey in the 1928 movie Steamboat Willie, was welcomed by U.S. pop star Katy Perry.
So today, a brief 40 years after Mickey got his star, I'm delighted to honor Minnie and her magic with hers. Everyone, Minnie Mouse.
Perry co-hosted Minnie's star dedication ceremony with the Walt Disney Company's CEO, Robert Iger. Walk of Fame ceremony organizers hailed the animated mouse, fun-loving, independent personality. According to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, it took Minnie 4 decades longer than her boyfriend to receive the same accolade because Disney only nominated her last year. Other Disney children's idols who had been honored on the Walk of Fame include Donald Duck, Winnie the Pooh, and Snow White.
Oh, it's beautiful! Thank Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a very pleasant day.